Right, hello. So yeah, Christmas stream. Hopefully everybody sees it that's actually sitting about on a PC. So Merry Christmas to everybody. Um, what was I going to say? We've had the main bit of our day done now. We've got some other relatives coming around later. But this is really the only time of day I can actually do a streaming. Where I'm not being sociable with family members. So we'll see if anybody comes on. But yeah, I've had already. Right, Dan, Merry Christmas. But yeah, it's Merry Christmas, Juice Stug. But yeah, annoyingly today I had to have a nap partway through the day, but I think that's pretty normal now for me at Christmas. I have a load of food, and then I sort of think, oh, I'm really tired now. But yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody joining then. So yeah, my parents are just taking my granddad home now because luckily he could come over because we didn't think he could because obviously I had COVID last week, but I've been all clear on the lateral flow test for several days in a row now. So cheers, random. Um, so he said he wanted to come over, so I did keep my distance from him. I'd sit at the opposite end of the table and everything else, but I am negative on the COVID test at least now, so that's good. Right, Craig, Merry Christmas to you. But yeah, so it was quite a good day so far. All my relatives really have just given me money so far, and random stuff like that, money and alcohol. So I can't complain. I always find it funny to people that moan I drink too much. Always buy me alcohol. So it's you think they'd get me something else if they didn't want to do that, but oh well. All right, so nice Merry Christmas. So your favourite gas mask is CT12, and that gets asked a lot. It should be an FAQ, but then when it's an FAQ, people ask it even more. Pretty much anything. I mean, if you're asking me like what's my favourite thing to drink, probably a lot of liqueurs actually, because they're like the right strength in terms of like ones that are 20 to 30%. They're sort of the right strength you can drink them neat quite easily. But also, they can have a bit more flavour to them. A lot of spirits. A lot of spirits are quite, obviously dry. But I don't mind spirits at all. But generally, beer, cider, whatever, I'm happy with all of it. Merry Christmas, chocolate muffin. Yeah, I've had an all right day, thanks. My granddad came over, which was nice because earlier on in the week we didn't think he'd be coming over because obviously I had the COVID positive results. But I don't know, I had some wine with my dinner, Snoz, but I've not had any alcohol since. I don't actually really feel like drinking much today. I don't know why. It might be because I've had a couple of days recently where I've had a fair bit of booze, so I thought I might be thinking today I'll actually not have much. But I've mostly just been quite tired today, in all honesty. When you say weapon, do you mean a small arm? Let me have a think. Probably the M1 carbine or M2 carbine. All right, Richard. Hope you're having a good Christmas. But yeah, like I said, today's mostly sort of a day of I'm pretty sure I've had one of those before, so they're nice, yeah. But or at least a Badger Brewery one, even if it wasn't that particular one. But yeah, so like I said, today has really just been seeing my granddad so far, having dinner with my mum and dad, and then I think my aunt and uncle are coming up a bit later. Because we were going to have some other relatives come up, but I think because I had COVID, they've sort of just cancelled that completely now, which I don't blame them for. But I think my aunt and uncle, because they're quite local, sort of, they know I've done several negative tests now, sort of fine coming up. So that's that. Yeah, otherwise I've not actually done loads today. I got up, opened my presents, gave presents to other people. Was playing on the PS5 and the PC for a bit until it was dinner time and that, as well as socialising. I had the food, then I went to bed for a couple of hours. I missed the Queen because I was sleeping. So I assume by being called PU239, it's about plutonium. Let me have a look up. So IMDb PU239. Ah, that looks interesting. But no, I've not seen that. So I'll have to see if I can actually find a thing of that. But yeah. Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. That's annoying, Flazzy. So yeah, you happen to get ill around Christmas. That always sucks when that happens. Hopefully you don't have COVID, or I suppose it depends, because if you might want to have COVID if it's not too bad the symptoms, and then you can say you've had it and now got natural immunity for it. But yeah, like I said, because I was quite worried this week it was going to fuck up our Christmas where I was ill, but luckily, as I said, at the back end of this week I was starting to test negative again. I still don't feel 100%. Like I definitely feel a lot better than I did in terms of sore throat and that, but I'm still quite tired quite a bit. But that's just post-viral fatigue, I think, most of the time, because your body's been fighting a virus, it's not got as much energy as normal. Yeah, I suppose that might come back negative then if you've had 6 lateral flow tests come back negative. But I think there's some people that always seem to get negatives on lateral flows, even if they've got a positive, or vice versa, because I know they're not 100% reliable. But yeah, so other than when my aunt and uncle come round a bit later and socialising with them, I think I might have quite an early night tonight, in all honesty. It's very rare that I'll have a Christmas where I'm actually kind of keen to go to bed. But I think, like I said, it's just because recently, because I've been ill, it's just been where I've not fully sort of woken back up yet, if you know what I mean. I'm not like running on all gears, if you get me. It's sort of, I'm still a bit, sleepy. I do need to take my multivitamin and iron tablet actually, because I didn't do that this morning because where we cleared all the kitchen surfaces out, so where my mum's doing the cooking, all my tablets are down there in like a bag, so I need to put them back out because obviously I normally have them like quite organised. So I go one of them, one of them, one of them, in the morning when I'm doing all of my various medications. But I suppose, Flazzy, you can have it over several days, can't you? You can have it in sandwiches. You can have it as turkey. Yeah. But yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody who's joining. Who wasn't on at the beginning. So yeah, I'm what was I going to say? Yeah, I'm going to not planning on watching anything on telly or whatever later. I don't know what there is really on, but yeah, it's only 4:30. I already feel quite tired. But I suppose I did get up like 7 o'clock today, to get the COVID test done, which is quite early, but it was just so I could say to everybody, look, I'm clear, kind of thing. I got a bit of alcohol, just like a couple of bottles of wine, nothing particularly interesting, and a load of money. So the money's good. I'll have to wait. I have to wait till the banks are reopen again to cash all that in, so I can actually use it for stuff. Yeah, I can't really think of much to say other than Merry Christmas to everybody. But sounds like all of us are having a bit of a weird Christmas this year. But I suppose that's to be expected of all the COVID type stuff, isn't it? That it's gonna make Christmases strange. No plans for tomorrow, Dan. I think my parents were going to a football game, but that's been called off now because loads of the players have COVID. So probably not do much tomorrow, I think. I mean, it's nice to have this weekend off work because normally I work Saturdays and Sundays, and because this weekend's fallen on Christmas and Boxing Day, it means I'm not at work, which is nice. Yeah, like 13, 14 pounds, I think, Flazzy, 6 kilos, yeah. And then on Monday, and I'm back to dog sitting and dog walking. So, yeah, it's back to normal for me on Monday, essentially. Um, I don't know yet though if I'm working Saturday because Saturday is New Year's Day and I have a feeling they might be closed, but I haven't been sent a rota yet. All right, hi, Merry Christmas. But yeah, I've not been sent a rota yet, so I don't actually know. But yeah, like I said, so it's not been too weird our Christmas this year, but it's still, like not what we were expecting just because of all like when I had COVID last week, it changed all the plans a lot. But luckily, my granddad still came over today because it was negative. Yeah, that should be good hype. Like I said, I've never really seen the FRRs for sale here. I know they probably are for sale here, but it's normally just the GSR versions you see here. But I suppose that's because there's a lot of surplus ones coming out. Yeah, well, the thing I like about dogs, Dan, is they'll never say anything mean to you. I mean, I suppose they could bite you, couldn't they, something like that. But I've never had a dog call me a cunt. Mostly just money and like chocolates and beer. Oh, thank you very much, Doggingtons. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Merry Christmas to you as well. But yeah, so the only thing I bought myself is that they had some mini monitors, which are Geiger counters, on eBay for less than 300 quid with the Alpha Probe. And Alpha Probe Geigers are normally quite expensive, and I've had a mini monitor before. And I really like the mini monitors, so I thought, yeah, I'll get that because it would actually be one I end up using quite frequently because it's it's one of those sort of counts per second sort of big screen what do you call it, like logarithmic scale ones, where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of or all that, and then it starts jumping in like 100, 250, 500, 1,000, 2,000 counts per second. That's good hype, yeah. Weirdly, Rich, this year I have not been given any deodorant yet because that's normally one of those presents I always seem to get from people, deodorant, but I've not got any this year. Yeah, because normally that's the sort of present I think when there's somebody who's sort of like a distant relative or a friend of the family who doesn't really know what to get people, so they get you like deodorant and sort of like soap packs, don't they? But yeah, I'm getting quite low on deodorant actually, so I have to go shopping at some point and just buy a load of them because deodorant I just normally buy a few like spray cans of it at once, and then that lasts ages. But when I was saying that, I think I might actually have bought 2 other deodorants a while ago and just not actually remembered where I put them, so I'll have a look for those a bit later. But yeah, like I said, funny enough, I'm just quite tired today because as soon as I had the Christmas dinner and a bit of wine, I immediately went to bed. I was like, oh, I'm tired. So yeah, I had a nap for about an hour, 2 hours, whatever it was. And then yeah, that's what I've wondered, Rich, when people have given it me before. But I think sometimes it's just when people don't know what to get you. I'm a bit tired, hype, but other than that, yeah, pretty much all the symptoms are gone. But I suppose that could be post-viral fatigue. So I've been noticing a lot of days recently. I want to go to bed quite a bit earlier than normal for me, just because a bit tired. But for the most part, I feel completely back to normal. I think now and again I'll get some very mild symptoms, but yeah, in terms of all the COVID stuff, that's at least negative on the lateral flows, and I've been feeling fine. Other than that, like I said, I still don't feel 100%, but I don't feel ill or anything. It's just we do a bit of perking up a bit. Right, your mother. Merry Christmas. Yeah, like I said, the nice thing at least today was my granddad could come over because it was going to be a real shame if my mum had to take some food down for him, and sit with him for the day, and I'd be stuck with my dad or whatever. Oh yeah, it's a combination of getting old, but it's also I think having like some stuff like flu and COVID does make you quite tired for a while afterwards. Oh, is that the one they were launching into space today? Have they launched it yet? Because I haven't actually been really watching any TV today. Um, do you mean the one that goes in the chin hype? No clue. Because they're generally once they've used them up, I doubt you could probably find somewhere that sells them unless there's surplus ones anyway. That's a bit much for a Mark 7 helmet, Dan. A Mark 7 should be a lot cheaper than that. That's like what do you call it? That's like a Virtus helmet price, £302. Of course, you got some gas masks, did you, for Christmas? I don't know if the internal HEPA filter really does much, though, does it? Or is it just basically designed to keep, like, the inside of the mask a bit cleaner by, like, dirt getting stuck in the HEPA filter, you know, like, I mean, like eyelashes and things like that? I don't think there was any snow here. Whether or not they got some in Scotland, I don't know. But the BBC doing crap clickbait. It said on the front page of the BBC today, you know, like the town snowed in, and then it was like in the 1980s. It's like, wow, the BBC is fucking desperate now, aren't they, for getting Merry Christmas, Justin. Yeah, Dan, I paid something like that, 50, 60 pounds. The Mark 7 I actually really like. It's, I think, one of the best Kevlar helmets out there, you know, prior to the modern sort of ultra high molecular weight polyethylene ones, whatever they're called. Yeah, Craig, that was exactly it. On the Sunday, that was when my symptoms were worse, and yet it felt like I had a really bad hangover Sunday. So yeah, on Sunday, that was literally last Sunday. That's all I did. I think I was awake for about 1 hour that day properly, you know, and that was just awful. You know, like looking at the screen, looking at lights were giving me migraine. So I just went to bed, and it was a case of, you know, sleep a couple of hours, wake up, sleep a couple of hours, wake up. But no sleeping. No, Craig, actually saying that when you actually do have a thing like that is actually a good thing. That's what your body wants you to do, because obviously it's using your energy to fight the infection rather than powering you about. Merry Christmas to you in Russia. Doesn't Russia celebrate Christmas in January at some point, though, if I remember right? Yeah, I'm not a fan of Dead Money Yuma. I like the atmosphere of it, but like I said, it's just those fucking radios that are really annoying and like weird maze-like layout of everything. Dead Money is like one of those DLCs I want to like, but I can't like it. Merry Christmas, Connor. If I remember right, I don't know the exact names without searching them, but Myra certainly do have a lot of Czech army masks that they just rename. So it most likely is, yes. Yeah, the weird thing though was like that I lost quite a lot of my appetite for a day or two. Although I suppose I then probably started eating a lot once I was out of bed. Like in 2 days afterwards. Merry Christmas, we've already met. But yeah, because I think I was getting close to 40 Celsius on my forehead on the Sunday. But that was one of those days where at times I would feel like I was overheating, and then I'd feel like I was shivering cold. I was actually shivering quite a lot on the Sunday. But thankfully that's all stopped. Although I have had a bit of shivering even in the last few days, even though technically I'm scoring negative on the COVID tests. But you know. So sadly Boris Johnson is still a fucking cunt, didn't get to number one in the top charts, but anybody who bought it got it up. I think it's even 5 in the official chart, wasn't it? Even though they wouldn't mention it on TV, because of course they wouldn't. Yeah, what's the question? Just ask the question, Bill Reman. So I had COVID last week, so I'm a lot better than I was last weekend, but I'm still not 100% yet. But I'm not back proper working until Friday in the week, so yeah, I've still got quite a few days to fully recover. Merry Christmas to you in California, Ronald. What was that, Boris Johnson comment? Um, well, the problem is there's only so much you can do to protect yourself from, let's say, a bioweapon or a disease, because you'd first need to know it's around. Because if you don't, unless you're wanting to wear an NBC suit and like a gas mask every time you go out the house, which is really impractical, you'd actually have to know it's coming. And even with following all the COVID, stuff, like washing your hands a lot, wearing a like FFP3 mask or whatever when you're outside, there's still a lot of that, like where you can get sloppy after a while. Right. I don't know what would fit under your helmet. That's the only problem. But personally, I would go for the highest protection thing possible in both vapor and particle. So with particle, you want to go on for one called P3 because P3. I'm doing a 3 like that because people moan when I say 3. So yeah, get a P3 one and maybe A2 or something. Like you can get A2, B2, and all those. I mean, ideally, if you could get like an ABEC 2 P3, that would be the best thing. But I don't know how much space you've got under your helmet. Oh, what was the good one he fucked up, Connor? Was it contact tracing? Excuse me. Yeah, basically what Hype says. Practice good personal hygiene is a good one. But if it's anything really scary, you're probably going to get infected. Well, not so if it's scary, but if it's something that's infectious, you're going to be infected with it anyway. A lot of things, because there's a lot of things like the common cold, right? I bet if you even tried to avoid getting common cold, you couldn't do it. Just due to the fact of like how prevalent it is. But the body having a good immune system is actually, really good because you don't have to worry about too much. That's, sensible anyway. But like I said, I won't be on for too long today because I do know I've got some relatives coming around a bit later on, but I don't know exactly what time. But yeah, that must suck. Did the deactivated L85A one have broken parts on it though? And I don't mean like broken because it's deactivated. I mean like snapped off bits of plastic. Okay, yeah. So it will mainly be, I guess, finding a very small kind of respirator that fits under it. Then. Oh, that's cool. Your mother. I was trying to get one of the like Chinese Dao swords a while ago, and then they were out of stock everywhere that I was looking. On like all the UK sites that sell them, like the Cold Steel ones and the other brands. The ones that are a bit like falchions, like they're quite big at the end. Right, that's a very good comment from the Asia Research Directorate, is it? Saying that, yeah, there's certain like welding helmets you can actually put filters on, which I didn't know because I don't. Well, I actually do have a welding helmet, but I don't use it for welding. I use it if I'm playing around with ultraviolet lights. Pardon me. Oh, and Richard said he uses a copy of a 3M half face mask, the round pink filters that fit under his welding mask fine. It would depend completely how the replica's made, because obviously if you have a deactivated gun, they tend to be a bit lighter than if it was a live gun, because there's been bits of it that have been cut out for the most part. A replica, you can get replicas that are actually heavier than the original guns, because that's some of the complaints people have with certain replica models, that they're actually like heavier than the real thing. Sorry to hear that, Steve. Merry Christmas to you. But I was COVID positive as of last weekend, which I assume was Omicron, because that seems to be the one that's really spreading now here. As in, wasn't yesterday's figure like the third record figure in a row for something like 120,000 new like lab confirmed cases or something? So that's like 1 in 60 people almost in like each day at the moment getting Omicron. But yeah, like I said, I must have caught it at some point last week, and then the symptoms started coming out Friday, like very early Friday morning. I woke up with a really sore throat, so I did a lateral flow test before I was due to go to work, and then I phoned them in and said, "Look, my lateral flow's come back positive." They said they'd take me off the rotor for 2 weeks, just in case, and then I went to have the PCR later. I don't actually know Hype. I think, right, so the exhale valve on it is actually about there. Let me show you. So the exhale valve, if we take this cover off. Oh no, the exhale valve's there. So at least, although it's a double exhale valve, so some of it will come out there. If you're leaning forward slightly, it will come out gravity-wise there. But I think some of it actually, weirdly, goes into that, like you're saying, the that thing in the chin, like the filter in the chin, if I can find it. Yeah, that's, if you can see it, that's the HEPA filter, isn't it? There. Again, I don't really get the point of that, in all honesty, because it's not blocking anything from coming into the mask where it's there. It's there, but at least this one's actually comfortable. It goes under my chin properly. The other one I had, I pulled out the mask because it was, you know, where it was, it would like dig right into my chin there. Yeah, Dan, that's what I'm saying. I thought that's mostly what it was for, just to absorb like sweat, isn't it? Because that might be the idea with it, Hype, is that it might be more, yeah, that it soaks up loads of sweat and, you know, stuff like that, and then when it gets too horrible, you probably pull it out and put a replacement one in if you can find a replacement one. But yeah, I'd certainly say this. I certainly like this GSR more than my other one. So I'd love to get an Avon version at some point, but don't want to pay silly money for it. Because yeah, the GSR isn't an awful mask. This is the thing. It's just one of those masks that when it first went into service, it had loads of issues of poor like workmanship. And it was also because, you know, it was the Avon M50 was the mask they were meant to go with, but they went for this because it was a cheaper option. Which is a thing that happens a lot with British military procurement. They have a choice of stuff in like trials. They find in the trial what works the best, and then they go for somebody else if they can provide the like a similar product for cheaper. It looks weirdly, Richard. It looks like the fiberglassy kind of material, like fiberglassy paper sort of HEPA material you'd have in air conditioning vents. But yeah, I think you could probably stuff a tampon in there if your mask doesn't have it, and it would do the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm assuming, yeah, Hype, it's just that, yeah, because it's at the very bottom of the mask, the stuff pulls into there, and then it sort of, you know, soaks it up for as long as possible. Which mask that, Stuart? The GSR or what? Yeah, Steve, I need to take my supplements. So I was saying to people earlier in the stream, what ended up happening is because we had to clear out the kitchen for my mum to do all like the Christmas food. Last couple of days, I moved all my tablets to in here, and it's a lot more awkward to take my tablets in here because of just the fact that, you know, where I got them all stored in a bag, I can't, you know, just lay them out in order and go like, I'm having this one, this one, this one, like my medications in the morning, including things like, you know, vitamins and everything. Oh yeah, the FFR though is the one that's 40mm by default, isn't it? Because the GSR is actually 40mm. Because if you've seen my video, you know this. But this is quite funny. Or you've seen another person's video on it. But okay, so here's the weird thing, right? With this, so there's my other GSR, and this one I took the bits off, so it's just in 40mm mode. See that? So there's the 40mm screws. But by default, with the GSR, they have this. Actually, get the thing off. They have that thing on, which is what makes, you know, the proprietary filter make an airtight seal. But essentially, that is just a thing that is in the 40mm port. So if you get a GSR, you can just make it into a 40mm mask. You just have to bear in mind that you can't really undo it once you've done it because it doesn't come off cleanly. Like this one, you can see there's a bit of sheared plastic on there. Still airtight, but it's yeah. So this is a 40mm GSR essentially. The S6, I don't think I have handy. It's probably in one of my other rooms, so I can't get it out unless you can see it somewhere in the background. But I don't think the S6 is in this room at the moment. But what I was going to do is just to show this one was 40mm. Just screw a filter onto it. Look. That'll do. So yeah, there you go. It is actually 40mm once you take those bits off. Well, I suppose that basically is just a Scott FRR, isn't it? When it's, or FFR, whatever it's called, when you have those bits removed, they just probably have a neater looking 40mm plug in there rather than with all the extra bits on, which are for the other bits. Yeah. Okay, sure, yeah. So yeah, blanking plug one side and 40mm on the other. It depends what you're doing, because again, lots of things, you can have gas mask filters where they're meant to last a certain amount of time, but they don't expire anywhere near as fast as they're meant to. But yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody joining. Like I've said before, it depends. If you need them for something serious, then you obviously have to pay very good attention to how often the filters need replacing. You know, when it's like your life depends on it or your health depends on it. But for a lot of like general purpose kind of wearing a gas mask just to stop you, you know, coughing if you're getting a bit of dust down, you're doing something or whatever. Those are the sort of things where even an old expired filter is probably going to be absolutely fine. Yeah, Philip, I'm not totally better, but I am a lot better. Because like we said, we've had a few people on sadly today who said they've managed to get flu or corona, you know, literally right on Christmas. So I'm glad I had it last week, not this week. But yeah, but I'm mostly back to normal. I'm just still not fully recovered from it, and I'm quite tired quite a lot. But if you took the adapter bit out, Rich, yes, but it would be quite hard to get the adapter to install properly on a regular mask. But yeah, in theory, especially if you could buy it as a parts kit, you could get that, and then you could put that onto a 40mm bit, I imagine, and then yeah, you could put these filters on there. But the only thing I don't like with this, won't be a problem with the actual proper like FFR or FRR, whatever it's called, but with the actual GSRs, even when you take those bits off, if you put a 40mm on, it doesn't give as much airflow as a regular 40mm mask would because of how the port's been sort of designed. I mean, khaki is not really a camouflage in the sense it's a solid color, isn't it? But if you're in places where there's lots of like dry grass, then yeah, brown is a good camouflage color, like brown of all shades. But in general, with camos, it's better to always have like two tones because it breaks your shape up more. So, you know, even though a solid color like olive drab and khaki and that can all be good, or khaki, how you want to say it, in general though, like if you had, you know, like half of it being brown and half of it being green in some sort of pattern, it would break it up more. I actually don't know, Dan. I'm assuming it was something to do with the idea that once you take a filter off, you don't then what's the word? Like you don't need to hold your breath because it blocks anything from getting in. Because as soon as you take this off, it will lock the air port. Yeah, because I think hype it's because this was designed to always run on two filters by the sound that you can obviously just use this as one filter and then the air won't get in one side because of this locking design. But I'm pretty sure because it's got like a key on there. I don't know how obvious that is under the lighting because it won't focus very well. But there's like a little key on the filter, and the job of that key is to that goes in, and then when you twist it, it basically opens and closes the valve. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Hype. I think it will be purposely made better on that particular mask because the FRR, I imagine, is like I said, because they purposely made it for 40mm, it's designed to work in 40mm. Where with this, it's basically designed that you're always going to have two filters on it. Yeah, I will say that. That's one of the things that did surprise me, actually, JJ. Yeah, as much as I do like the M50 more in general, the GSR filters are at least easier to take on and off, aren't they? In the sense of when you're wearing masks, although it still takes a bit of practice because it's not. But you don't have to worry about cross-threading it like a 40mm filter. It will either go in or it won't. But at least, like I'm saying with this, is you don't have to take both the filters off at once. You can take one off, calmly replace it with another filter, then do the other filter because of how it's designed to work. But anyway, I'll be off fairly soon because, like I said, I want to be sociable with family members as soon as they get back in. It depends what they're exposed to, Sky Fox, because again, if like we were saying earlier, if it's being used in some sort of setting where it's exposed to loads of stuff, then they are not going to be effective, using them over and over again. But if it's just like you using it every day for like random jobs, like going to the supermarket to avoid catching corona or something like that, or, while you're mowing the lawn if you've got hay fever or something, then you can keep reusing a filter for ages. It depends really what you're doing with it, because if it's anything serious, you don't want to risk using an older filter. At one point, I would have said this one, but it's not actually my least liked gas mask anymore. I'm probably that pewter, the Chinese pewter one, whatever it was called, the one that basically doesn't even work because, it's like way too soft a rubber, so it bends in on itself and the weight of the filter. And even if you're using it with like a filter or like a Papa sort of system, and you had a hose on it, so that's not adding any weight to the mask. The buckles on it are crap, so when you try and like tighten the mask while you're wearing it, they ping off. All right, Sing, I've not had much to drink today. I don't think I'm actually going to bother today. I might give my liver a rest today. But yeah, hope you're enjoying Christmas at least. But yeah, I had some wine in my dinner and then I sort of wanted a nap after that because I was so full. Yeah, that's on the Romanian filter. Yeah, you're right, Rich. They gave basically like a breakdown of times, didn't they, of various gases and how long the filter lasted. Lasts. And yes, the what was I going to say? Yeah, the some of those things, some things will eat through a filter really quickly. While a filter might last several hours against one chemical, there are certain chemicals that literally destroy filters. If you mean food, Dan, I like both, but I generally have Indian takeaways like Bangladeshi stuff more often because there's a really good restaurant not very far from me. But there's also good Chinese, so it's hard to say. But I'd probably say I have Indian more frequently, but I like both. Anyway, like I said, I'll be off to make sure I'm not being antisocial in case any more relatives have come around. Ah, that's good. Where did you get your prescriptions done, Philip? Was it like an optician's, or was it like one of the online places where you can send in your like glasses specs and have them do, all that? Because when I next get my eye test done and they give me the sheet with what my eyesights are, I think I am quite tempted to get a like spectacle kind of kit for respirators. But right, that's so Specsavers for the lenses. All right, cool. I know with some of them you can just get the lenses, can't you, and then fit them manually to various masks. But yeah, have a good Christmas, everybody. Have a good day. Thank you to anybody that donated earlier or joined up. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm lens from All Pipe. But I thought you said you got the lenses from Specsavers. Or do you mean the frames from All Pipe? Anyway, have a good evening, everybody. Have a good Christmas. Like I say. And I will see everybody. Assume I might be on tomorrow actually, because like I said I'm not planning on getting drunk and hungover today. So frames from All Pipe. Right, okay, cool, yeah. Right, see everybody. Have a good day. Merry Christmas.